school hopping, that kind of coincides with how you chose to, really instill to your daughter, but also to some of your players, the ability to be accountable and be consistent. Do you feel like this generation of athletes, regardless of sport, the school hopping is more like a trend? It's like a popular thing to do. And why is it so relevant right now?
I think right now because of the NIL and the portal,
Okay.
and college portal has changed everything. I look at my school, for example. We're 30-0. And people just think, you hear the little comments about, oh, they're the strength of schedule. And dude, listen, if you understood the behind the scenes with this whole thing is these kids they had a good year last year. They lost in the conference tournament on a buzzer beater. They all came back. They could have entered the transfer portal, went to different schools and got more money. They wanted to stay together. And they're showing everybody what it means to be a team and stay together and build something special. So they're 30-0. They're playing against other Division I colleges who are the Division I colleges. They're good players. You're going against other respectable, good coaches. And you hear narratives like, oh, man, they're 30-0, but they're not playing anybody. They are playing. They're playing playing other Division I teams. And, they might not get in the tournament. And in my head, I'm like, well, that's crazy talk because they won 30 straight games and 0 losses. And it's a group of kids that stayed together. And they're a prime example of what it means to don't go just chase the bag. If you do it the right way, be the turtle, now that bag is chasing you. Because what's going to happen, and I don't know what's going to happen with this team, a lot of those guys could probably leave next year and they deserve it. They're 30-0. It's insane when you actually think about it coming from a mid-major. But, with the whole portal nowadays, you're going to get, I wouldn't be surprised if a few of the guys on the team get offered $1 million, because that's just how, and in that situation, you have to take that. It's like changing money, not just for yourself, but for your family. If you're in it for the money, are you in it to support your family? I get all of that. But I think the NIL and the portal has caused players to not be able to hold themselves accountable when things get hard. I'm in the portal. I'm out next year. And it's like, you're going to be hopping your whole career. And I think that is what really actually started and made everything very interesting and difficult because they're not, I have these conversations with a few of my buddies. A lot of my friends are Division I college coaches, or I either played with them or I went to school with them. Like we have these conversations. They're like, what a lot of these parents don't tend to understand is that we're not really looking at high school kids anymore. like
And that developed kids.
We're looking at the kids that are developed. So if I can
experience,
I get it. Little Timmy is ranked the top guy in his area in Arizona, but if I can go get a kid from Miami of Ohio, say for example, I'm Ohio State, and Miami of Ohio is 30-0, and they have a kid that's a freshman. He averaged 6-7 points per game, but he had a good impact on that team that was 30-0. Who you gonna go get? You gonna go get that kid, or you gonna go get the kid that's coming from high school that has 0 experience? Body's not developed. Yeah, he's talented, and if this was before the NIL and portal, for sure we'll probably offer him.
But now it's like the labor market.
Yeah.
Let's level the playing field and let's look at the fact that if I'm a big corporation or an established business, why hire someone fresh out of college or high school when I can just go after someone who I can poach from an existing team who's got 3, 4, 5 years in the field that I need them to be in? I'll pay them money and I'll get them to resign there and come here.
No, that's right, because it's like they don't have time to develop. That used to be the way things were, where they bring you, red shirt you, and by your junior year you'll be in the rotation. No, it's changed.
Development is gone.
Yep. Yeah, that's why it's so important right now to develop, especially at the youth. Like when you 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, like that is the most important time to really, really develop and work on your game and work on your weaknesses, because if you don't, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get.
So how do we do that, Kenny, when you have, and again, we're not saying names,
Yeah.
but there are organizations that you and I as coaches and fathers in the community in which we compete in and we work in and we do our things and we move in, there's organizations that are just like an assembly line.
Yeah.
Hundreds, dozens of players
Yeah.
that they're saying, come on in. You're not ranked, but you're mid-level.
Yeah.
You are a in-between developmental and or club player, but we want 15 of you at that position because we're just going to start building teams and teams. We're going to have A team, but we're going to have like 6 B teams
Yeah.
and 6 C teams.
Yeah.
How do you compete with that and still try to cultivate development when they're seeing this as revenue?
Yeah, that's the tricky and hardest part is because a lot of these parents are easily manipulated, and a lot of people won't understand your vision. And then when they do understand, it's kind of too late sometimes. And I realize I won't be able to touch everybody, but I can. The ones that do believe in me, the ones that do understand the vision, those I'm working my butt off. I'm working extremely hard, because I feel I can't let them down. Not just the parents, but the kids. They trust me, and they're putting faith into me to help them get to where they want to get to. And I feel like I have to give it my all, and it's not easy. Of course, I'm going to have failures along the way, but it's no different than my basketball career. You learn from your mistakes and you just keep growing. And you can't fix everybody. Some people are just stubborn. Some people, they are they're naive. They're easily manipulated. And those are the ones that you hope one day get it, but you can't force somebody to change their way of thinking. That just has to happen naturally. And the ones that I'm able to touch are the ones that I'm going full throttle for.
I'm going to transition into touching on our sponsors here real quick. I want to thank Jellyfeet Reusable Foot Cover, one of our sponsors for today's episode. Again, you can find them online at jellyfeet.com. Again, that's jellyfeet.com, reusable foot covers, and also Clean Plate Labs. Clean Plate Labs is a full-service multimedia technology solutions company, and they are both our sponsors today, making this podcast episode possible with Kenny Hayes.
Coach B, congrats on Coach of the Year. You deserve it. I'm proud of you.
This is Maceo. God bless you and congrats. Kenny, if you had a magic wand and you had the ability to shape, like you mentioned, John Stovall, some top leader within a Fortune 100 company. I think you said Nike.
Nike. Yeah.
If you had a magic wand and you can design what club basketball looks like today, list out 5 things it would not have?
We wouldn't play as many games.
Okay. Overplaying.
Yeah. No rankings.
No rankings.
There would I wouldn't allow you have to be committed to how am I trying to explain?
Does this lead to the team hopping?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead, unpack it. Committed.
It's committed to developing.
Okay.
it would be
almost like a guarantee to stay with all AZ for the duration of 2 years, 2 seasons.
well, it wouldn't have to be that long. I would say it would at least have to be, I think maybe even 3 months.
90 days.
Yeah, just so you know, like, hey, we tried it for 90 days. We don't like it. Oh, we do like, we want to keep it going, I don't want nobody, feeling like they're locked in to something. I just know, like, the product that I'm selling is authentic. It's coming from, like, a really good place in my heart.
Okay. So let's just, you talked about overplaying.
Yeah.
Rankings, no rankings. Let's just call this the 90-day commitment.
Yep.
Okay, that's 3. 4 and 5. Give me 2 more. You would leave out of club basketball if you had the magic wand. 2 more things.
Let me think. Leave out of club basketball. I would say, what's the list? Give me the list that I said already.
Overplaying, no rankings, 90-day commitment.
I would, man, it's really, that's tough. I'm trying to think, and I know more, and I know if I leave here, oh man, I should have said this.
How about player poaching?
Player
Poaching, like you see top talent, so you go after other players.
Oh yeah, no, that's a no-go. Yeah, that.
Would you leave that out, or is that was in that you already?
I would for sure.
What would you call what I just described?
My whole thing with that, I want players to come to me, I want them to gravitate towards me. I don't want to be going out like, oh, give me him. And that's where we hit on where I said I could have took this player.
Right.
And he would have been great, for my team. But knowing the type of player he is, his mindset, he's a leader type of kid. It was one of those things where I'd be doing harm to him by taking him, because he's better than coming off the bench or not playing the amount of minutes that he deserves. It wasn't about the money. It was about looking at him, seeing him as where his growth was, and saying, I would love to have you, but I think this other situation is better for you, and I think you appreciate me. You might feel like I'm rejecting you. I'm not. I'm really helping you in the long term. So no, I agree with that. I think that bribing.
Okay. All right.
I take that out.
All right. Give me an example of a bribe. No names. So give me some juice here.
Or I've heard stories, man. I like I said, I've talked to parents that they told me what they expect, and I was, oh yeah,
like starting your club program.
Yes, there's oh yeah, I heard, it's like when so and so played here, they did this and did that, and in my head I'm like, well, that's stupid.
And they're expecting you to deliver.
Wow. And it was one of those things. They were saying it without saying it, and it was like, and in my head I'm like, okay, well,
I have to say this. I have to ask. I'm a coach. You're a coach.
Yeah.
You come into this arena with a resume.
Yeah.
Decorated, playing ball. I don't have that. I did not play basketball after high school. So I could see where you would have that conversation, like where a parent would go there with you because of your resume.
Yeah.
But I have yet to have that conversation. And maybe it's the fact that I don't come with that. But it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It also might be the type of athlete that you're talking to versus the type of athlete that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Where they are maybe a higher level. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out.
Yeah, they've been told they're this, and
so someone sped them that.
Yeah, and it sucks because they don't realize they're hurting them, and that's why I like the group of kids that I have that's on my team. Not some very talented players.
I know. I looked at your video, and my son, who you've trained, was like, yeah, he was at one of your practices.
Yeah.
I think it was a week ago actually, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, Kenny's got a really solid team."
Yeah, we got some really talented players, and the thing what I love about them, they know they're good, but they're humble.
Yeah.
And they work hard, and they're hungry, and they know I don't get caught up in the ranking stuff. And of course, we would love to play in those circuits because I'm not discrediting those circuits. I'm saying that it defeats the purpose of playing in these circuits if you're not developing the right way. So if this club is, this give an example. If a kid is, if a kid, I think it's positionless basketball, right? Like especially at the youth age. I don't think players should be given a position.
Oh, so you think it should be a positionless game at youth?
Yeah, 100%.
Be specific in grade level.
I would say, really, because these kids hit puberty, and you don't know how big these kids are going to be, or how strong or how tiny they're going to be. You could be 6 foot in 7th grade, but then you stop growing, and then what? And this whole time you've been playing as a post, and it hurts, because now you got to be a guard, and if you don't know how to dribble or shoot, you're going to struggle. And I think that's when we talk about development. I don't mean to get off topic.
No, that's good.
You need to have a universal skill set, and that universal skill set is shooting. If you're spending time with trainers, and you're not a good shooter, but they're doing all these moves and teaching you all these nice moves and fancy, that's cool and all, but you're still not working on the things that you need to get better at that are important. The purpose of training is to work on your weaknesses, and then you strengthen the things that you're good at, but you really put majority of your time in your weaknesses. So if I can't shoot, I'm going to spend majority of my off season working on my shot, and then I'm going to work on the other things that I need to get better at. But most of my time I'm working on the weaknesses, and then once I'm at a point mentally where it's like, okay, I got that one, I'm gonna move to the next weakness. Like and that's what I did throughout my career. I took my time with stuff. Like I got better and better as time went on, to the point to where I felt like I didn't have a weakness. I felt like I was, at a point where it was just easy. It got so easy for me that I got bored. And once I got bored, that's when I knew I was about to be done. Because it got to a point towards the end of my career, physically, you can feel it. But it got really easy as far as like playing in these games. It was just, it was like riding my bike. And then I think it's a saying, I don't want to bring up Drake, but he said, forget what song it is, but he said, the moment I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like how I felt. I didn't get that same drive that I used to have in my off season, where it's, oh, I need to go work on this. I had got to that point where it's like, I felt like I was really good. Of course, I'm not telling nobody. I felt that inside, and I matched my game up against anybody, and I never, what they call, I want all the smoke. It doesn't matter who you are. And then, you get to a point where it's like, yeah, I'm at a point now the fun is now I have fun coaching, and that's the drive. I get excited for practice, because now we get to work, we get to, prepare, and I get to teach. And that's why I love the players that I have, because they listen. I can tell they're listening. I'll give you a prime example. We played against a really good team in the championship 2 weeks ago. We played in Avondale. Same team beat us in the championship our first week. And it's a pretty good team, Hunters Elite. They have a really good 7th grade team. And I trained some of the kids on that team as well. So I know I have relationships with them. I have a good relationship with Steve. He's giving me some good advice as far as like, business tips and stuff like that. But we played against them in the championship. They had us down 20. in the first half.
Big deficit.
And it was one of those things where, like, I remember as a player being in those positions, and, like, you know, people who don't play or fans, they might think like, oh man, this game is over. But I knew I knew the game wasn't over. I knew that the players that I have, I knew what they were capable of, but I just felt like at the time, you know, what was going on with them. I think a little chill and relaxed, and they came out just way more aggressive. So I remember just calling a timeout, and I was just like, you guys, like, I think the first thing I said is like, y'all okay? Y'all still tired? You sleepy? They're like, nah, coach, we good. I was like, I mean, you sure? Because it's not about missed shots. You guys' effort isn't there. You guys don't have like that fire. You know, you're gonna miss shots. That's fine. It's more about, you know, who's the aggressor. It's them, not us. We're letting them punch us. And
Were you at this tone?
Yeah, at this tone.
Okay.
Yeah, at this tone. I don't. Me personally, I don't think you got to scream at somebody to get your point across.
Sure.
Especially at the youth age. So it was one of those things, you know, I told him, I said, hey, when it was halftime, I said, the goal is we got to get the point. We at the halfway mark, because it's a running clock. We got to be the aggressor this half. I said, halfway mark, we got to get it to a 10-point lead, 10-point game. If we get it to a 10-point game, we have a chance to win the game. I remember we got it to a 10-point game. At the halfway mark, I called a timeout. I said, okay, we're exactly where we want to be. I said, they started the game off hot. I was like, we're winning this half right now. We just got to keep chipping away. And the way we do that, number one, defense. We got to get stops. And when we get stops, we got to execute on the offensive end. We got to get the best available shot. We don't have to rush it. Yeah, take your shots. I'm all about, because I have some really, really talented offensive players. And I'm all about, play a shoot. If you're open, shoot it. You know, I don't want you, want you guys playing like robots. I'm not going to control you. You know, I want you to play your game, but also understand, like, each possession matters right now. So we got to make sure, like, the shot that we are taking, it's the best available shot that we could get. And man, these kids, man, they went out there and I can't take credit for that. They did it on their own. They came together as a team. They talking on defense. They're sharing the ball, and they're taking advantage of, like, the mismatches that we had on offense. And that's what, with a minute left in the game, we end up losing, but a minute left in the game, it was a 2-point game. They were up 2. And one of the kids that I trained, and his name is Eli, I'm proud of him. I mean, we worked that week, and we worked on his shot. And, I mean, didn't expect him to go out and do it to me, but he hit me for 5 threes.
Wow.
And he hit one of the big, and when we brought it within a 2-point game, we stole all the momentum. And it's like 50 seconds left in the game, and I can tell they felt us, and they like, uh-oh. And I remember Eli, it was like a scramble play, next play, and then they got it. Eli came off a handoff, and he shot it. And I'm looking, it went in on nets, and I was like, oh, man. And we still had a shot to win the game. We still chipped away. One of my players really, he did a great job at leading. He's a leader, and I don't want to blast his name on here, but he didn't know. If he watched this, he knows what I'm talking about. I mean, the way he was able to lead that group and everyone to follow his lead was amazing to me. And that's the stuff that I enjoy seeing. I'm like, man, you guys are gonna be special, man. If you just stay locked in, you stay motivated and keep believing, man, there's no telling where you can go with this. But it was just amazing to see a group of kids that had only been together for less than a month, honestly.
Yeah, I was going to point that out. Do you feel like what percentage of this is inheritance from the previous program, or was it just you being able to instill the standard to great parents? Like how does that recipe of, again, it's not about the W as much as it is the fight, the want to come back from a 20-point deficit.
Yeah.
So how did you have that result in less than 45 days? That's amazing.
honestly, from day one when we first started, I think, like I said, I got a really good group of guys, and my 3 core guys they're like the leaders of the team, and I hold them the most accountable. And I say, if you guys aren't leading, we don't have a chance. I was like, you guys got to show good examples, and that means in practice. We can't just, it can't just be the game. You have to show, because I got some young kids on the team. I got some 6th graders playing up.
Okay.
And they're talented, but they still have a lot of learning to do. But seeing the guys in front of them can only make them better.
And talk about fake development, because I feel like when you talked about the 6th graders on your team playing up, give me an example of what fake development looks like.
Fake development is, see, because I don't want people thinking I'm coming at their club, because this isn't no specific.
Sure.
Club at all.
Listen, if you're gonna throw bombs, we know at the end of the day you're not meaning it that way.
I think it's no disrespect towards anyone. It's just what I think, in my opinion, could be wrong, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I think fake development is when everything is focused on wins, and it's let's full court 1-3-1 press them the whole game and get steals and layups and stuff, and it's like, and then let's sit back in the zone the whole game, and it's just a bunch of run and gun, no structure. And to go back to that game that we played, we lost, but in my head we won, because I was just more proud of the fact that, like, they stayed together. I could have easily fell into the trap. You know what? Let's just full court trap. Let's 1-3-1. Let's get back and play the zone and force kids that aren't really strong enough to shoot threes, but it's going to help us win this game. No, just stick to the script. You're going to play man-to-man defense. You're going to jump in the gaps. You're going to be in the help side. You're going to talk. You're going to communicate. And then we're going to get the best available shot on offense. And that is realistic to me, because that's what they expect at the next level. That's expect, even high school, for sure, college. Is zone good? Yes, 100%. You're going to play zones in college and stuff like that. But when it comes to that type of stuff, I think that you have to be able to play man-to-man first before you can jump into,
You hear that, guy?
a zone.
Girls.
And it's like,
be able to play man-to-man.
because some of these zones that I see, it's just lazy. It's not even a zone. It's just like, it's kids are resting and they're chilling, and then they're forcing a team that, like I said, these kids they're young, so they're not strong enough to you're trapping them in a corner. This guy down court is wide open, but they can't make that pass. They're not strong enough. Or, you're forcing little kids to jack up a bunch of threes because you're sitting in the zone because you're trying to win this game. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's too much about, like, selling, we're winning. And it's like, what do you get? You get like T-shirts or hoodies for winning these tournaments. And it's like, yeah, cool and all, but my whole way, the way I think is that if you develop the right way, you do exactly what you're supposed to do, the wins are going to come naturally, because you're developing the right way. And these kids are understanding what it means to play together as a team. And I made a call, and back to that game we played, I had 2 other 7th graders on the team, another 6th grader, and I had to take a 7th grader out the game to put in a 6th grader. And that was probably when I realized I had a good team, because when I did that, there was no, some kids walk off the court, their head are down. When I put the 6th grader in the game, and he went in there and played his butt off, wasn't just offensive. He's a very good offensive player, and that's one reason why I had to put him in the game, because he's a really good threat from the 3-point range. But when I put him in, and I saw his intensity on defense, and then I looked at my bench and they were cheering him on. 7th graders cheering him on. That's when I was like, man, this is a really good group of kids. Most kids would be like, man, why he got this 6th grader in over me? And once we made that switch, it changed the game because it was one of those things. I looked how they were defending a few of our guys. They're kind of trapping them. And I was like, okay, well, if you're going to trap, I'm going to put a guy in the game where, you're going to have to respect him on the court. And I think that they tried that. They did the trap, and we made them pay. The sixth grader, he hit a three, and they got out of it. And that was what we wanted. And now we just started attacking the mismatches. And then it was like my bench was like off their feet, clapping, cheering my guys on. They call a timeout. They on the court cheering. I'm like, man, you guys are, you guys have no idea. If you stay together, by the end of the summer, I don't see anybody really, beating you.
Wow. And you said you have 6th and 7th graders.
Yeah.
Are any of them reclass? You don't have to ask.
Two of them are in reclass.
Okay.
One of them is a very special player because he has been blessed to have spent majority of his life in Europe.
Oh, he played international ball.
Yeah, I played with his father overseas. And it's crazy how everything is full circle now because this kid used to be on the court with us, warming up with us, on our off days. He's in there, we getting in extra work, but he's in there with us, getting up extra work with us. And then now everything's full circle. I'm coaching him. It's
That's wild.
It's crazy when you really think of it. But he loves basketball. He works extremely hard. And his IQ for the game is through the roof. And a lot of that is because of his experiences in Europe. Because in Europe, it's different from America. It's less games, more development.
Yeah.
And he was able to play for the youth club teams over there where he learned those things at a very young age. And now he's carried them. He's back here, living here. And it's carried over to him playing here. And not trying to say he's, I have a bunch of good players on my team,
But he's special. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those kids where, you see he has something that you can't teach. And I have a few of those guys on my team.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But I think him being in Europe has kind of helped him have this advantage over some kids here who are talented.
Sure.
And they might be bigger than him and stronger than him, but he has this IQ that I don't see too many kids out here that have that. So I think that's what kind of separates him.
You mentioned IQ a few different times.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, and how does it differ from today's youth that play ball?
To me, it's like, so I use myself as an example. I used to be I am a good scorer. I was, I played in the G League. I broke a bunch of scoring records. I've led a lot of top European leagues in scoring and breaking records over there. But then I got to a point, because I watch a lot of film, and I wanted to just be more, I hated when people called me a scorer. I wanted to be somebody that, I was a playmaker. I take what the defense gave me. I can give you 30, 40, and I can also get you 10 assists. And when you really love the game, you really watch a lot of film, and you figure out ways to impact the game. And that is when my game really went to another level. Is when I had the opportunity to play EuroLeague, Euro Cup. You playing with some of the best European guys like overseas. I played against Wemby. I played against Doncic. I played against so many of these guys that's in the NBA right now. And when you're around those type of basketball minds and you're playing against them and you're playing on these good teams, you have no choice but to get better and grow mentally. And once I started impacting the game and
in other ways,
that's when it took my game to
to another level.
And it was like, people like, man, how you play for 15 years and at this level? I'm like, dude, when you love it, it's not just about the physical part. It's the mental. I think it's 75% mental and the rest what you can do physically. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's just all about having the bag, and you can have the bag, but if you ain't got this, you might have you might start off good, but it's going to be a short stint. You're eventually it's going to fall down, and
Fall down.
and that's the part really what I'm trying to teach with the youth is like, you have to be able to understand that mental part of the game, because that's how that's why you got to respect people like LeBron, and LeBron's what, year 22?
22?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Like, right, people just think like, oh man, the longevity. No, the fact that he has the mental capacity to still be doing it at the level he's doing it is amazing to me. Because I got into year 15 and I could slowly feel that I knew I was done. It was like going to the practices, traveling, and it got to a point where I respected all my coaches, but I had so much knowledge and experiences. As I got older, I had the younger coaches.
And it was a different
dynamic, and these coaches respected me too. That's why they wanted me. They wanted me because it was like I was like another coach.
Sure.
But there were certain things that they would do. I would never tell a coach not to do this, but I knew. I said, yeah, it's time for me to be done, because I never wanted my coach to think that I felt like I knew more than him. And there was things that like some of these coaches would do I did not agree with, but I just did it. And that was the hardest part, is doing something that I felt I was doing going backwards.
As you got later in your career,
Yeah.
you started to see this difference between you and their coaches.
Yeah.
And that's when you kind of figured that, you know what, I just can't. I understood it as you just didn't relate to them.
Yeah.
And then you brought that into perspective for me, because being open here, like there's sometimes where even coaching 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, I feel like in my situation, not having a basketball background, it's like, man, that's a better suggestion than what I thought.
Yeah.
Like that player has his IQ, goes back to knowing your limitations. And like, sometimes I caught myself like, you know what? That's a better approach.
Yeah.
Let me go with his approach versus my own. And that takes ego aside and everything else aside. But I can only imagine you being in the game, have played the game at the highest level, and then as you were seeing these coaches come up, that's relevant to today.
Yeah.
But also back then, and that feeling of, again, what am I bringing to this team? What am I bringing to my legacy? I mean, there's so many questions, but it kind of goes back to the IQ piece.
Yeah.
And I think that you hit on a point where that's not happening now. What is it about today's basketball environment? Like if I had to answer that question, I think it has to do with people are more interested in highlights, shooting threes, slam dunks, versus, can I, and using your words, can I impact the game in other ways?
Yeah.
Right? You didn't necessarily impact the game scoring, but you did it in other ways.
Yeah.
And I think that gets lost in this. I think this is more of a statement than anything, but it just goes back to what we are doing here as coaches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So anything you want to add to that?
I think the biggest problem, and I think parents play a huge role in this. Everyone focused like on the bag or scoring. And when you really, it's like, okay, they're not understanding. If you want to be successful at this, you got to perfect that what you're good at. Let's take an NBA player, for example. Let's say Draymond Green, right? Would you say Draymond Green impact on the game is because he's a good scorer, or he's accepted his role, and because he accepted his role, it's turned him into an all-star. It's turned him to a 4-time NBA champion. It's turned him to one of the greatest role players that the NBA has ever had. And I think once people can start to understand what they're good at and just perfect that, you'll realize that would take you a long way instead of getting buckets and scoring. I could score, right? It was something that, it was natural, but I worked on it. but not everybody could do what I could do, and that was okay. We had guys that were great rebounders, and you know, the issue is the problem is that they're not really, and that's part of the development, that part of the fake development. It's like it's all about getting buckets, and that's not realistic, dude. Like, you're not gonna go to a college team and they already got their guy. Let's say an NBA team, Steph Curry's there, and you get drafted to the Golden State Warriors, and you think that you going to the Golden State Warriors and it's your team, or you gonna take more shots than Steph Curry. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to find your niche. Like, where do I fit in? Because I'm trying to win. If you want to win, everybody has different roles.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace and accept your role. And if you do that, trust me, you're gonna go a long way. But if you don't, you're not. And that's the mindset. A lot of these it's really parents. They be like, oh, you'll hear them in the stand, shoot the ball, don't pass. It's like, we're trying to develop real good habits.
Right.
Not bad habits. It ain't about shooting, And another thing about shooting, some people, I remember I asked a kid, he's like, yeah, I had 20 points. I said, okay. So I really asked him this girl. I said, so let me ask you a question. Is it good if you took 20 shot attempts and you had 20 points? Is that good? He was like, yeah. And that right there, it's not his fault,
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like, man, like, he just doesn't know. And it's okay, but that's where us coaches and trainers or mentors, we come in and, like, no, that's not okay.
Fake development.
Yeah, that's fake development,
Overplaying, rankings,
Yep.
team hopping,
Yep.
bribes,
Yeah.
highlight chasing. Those are all fake developments. And I think, before we wrap up here, in conclusion, I really think you touched on a lot of heavy hitting topics, but I think it kind of goes down to, what you started with. Your premise is about development and IQ. As you look ahead to the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, if you had to describe the future in one word, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, give me one word that would describe your future.
Influential, I would say. Like,
Influential. I love it. When you see your daughter on the court participating in the sports that she loves,
yeah.
what's the first, if you had to give me a feeling, what one word, what would that feeling be?
So when I see my daughter
Compete in her sport.
proud, father.
Proud.
I'm so, and I probably don't tell her enough. I kind of give her the same love my dad kind of gives me.
What is that? What is that?
I've always known my dad was proud of me. He never really said it, but I knew it because the way I knew it because I overhear him bragging about me to other people.
Okay.
Man, my son, man, he, when I broke the scoring record and man, I went off for 52. And that was the first time when I remember after that game, he was like, I've never seen my dad like that, just like yelling. He's like, man, what got into you? And he's like, and it's true story. And we could call him right now, he'll tell you. He said, you told me don't miss this game. And it was one of those that we're playing a top team in the G League, and I was going against a really good guard, and he had just got a call up to the NBA. And I was like, okay, told my dad, I was like, all right, because I work on my game so much, and my mental, I can flip a switch, and it's like when I flip that switch, man, it's I kind of just zone out, man. I lock in. So when after that game, when he was going nuts, he's like, man, what you told me, how'd you know you were going to do it? I said, well, I didn't know I was going to go for 52. I was like, but I knew I was going to have a good game. It was that was like one of the times that he expressed it.
I love it.
And with my daughter, I don't think I expressed it enough, but I'm extremely proud of her. She made second team all region. You know, and she's like, I was proud of her. I was like, yeah, but you should have been first 10. That's just motivation, but I'm proud of her. It was the first time ever making a team. And I want to touch back real quick on the IQ thing on my team. When it comes to me coaching, I remember in that last game, that last tournament we played in, the games it was close. We were down.
Versus Hunters.
Yep. And a lot of coaches, I remember having coaches where they want to dictate everything. And there was things on the court, I'm on the court, I see it, they don't see. And some of those coaches never really let me have, like, you know, even though I might have been the captain and leader of the team, some coaches are stuck on stubborn. You do as I say. And the best coaches that I had were the ones that, you know, hey, what do you see? What do you think? And when back to one of the kids that I was speaking about, I remember pulling him aside, and I saw this. I just wanted to ask him, like, you know, what do you want to do? Like, how should we attack right now? Because I see something, but what do you see? And he said the exact same thing that I was going to say. And that's when I was like, holy crap, this kid he doesn't realize he has something that if he stays with it, he can go some far places. And it's not just him, but I can see it's trickling down to the other players.
That's great.
And that's what I love the most about, you know, just what I'm doing right now, because I'm, like I said, I've had this team for less than a month, but you would think that we were together for at least a few months.
So you're proud of your daughter, but you're also proud of your team.
Yeah.
We can hear it.
Yeah.
Final question. You only have one word to describe it. What keeps you up at night about everything that you're doing? What's one word, if you had to describe, that keeps you up at night?
I don't know if it's one word, letting them down. Failure. You know, I don't sleep. I'm always thinking of ideas and ways that I can help them. And I'm, you know, I don't think I'm weird. I've been told, like, man, just chill out from basketball, dude. It's my life, dude. I love it. Changed my life. I've lived in China, Spain, Turkey, Russia, Italy, Israel, Lebanon. I've been to all these places all because of an orange basketball.
Yeah, and you know that's great. And in summarizing today's podcast, you know, people can follow you online. Share those with us as we wrap up here. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm
So Instagram. Give us that.
My Instagram is Hayes K19, I believe. And then we have my club team I think it's all AZ basketball. I have a Twitter, but I don't really, you know, use it as much as I probably should. I don't have TikTok. I don't know how to use it.
All right. So Instagram is primarily where.
Yeah, Instagram is where, you know, Hayes K19.
Okay. I would encourage your followers, our followers, to do that. And we obviously know that you're leading with development and basketball IQ, and just, you know, you're wrapping up closing statements about basketball, allowing you to essentially live in all these wonderful countries. Has shaped you, and we see that passion. So I want to thank you again for joining me on this episode of The Pulse Check. Until next time, appreciate everyone listening. YG, Brandon, thank you for your support as well, and thank you to our guest, Kenny Hayes. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.